Rightio, folks. So most people don't stay burnt out because of a lack of effort. They stay burnt out because most advice does not work in real life. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the two biggest offenders that keep you burnt out and in that cycle. And more importantly, what you can swap out, do instead, so you can get on top of your energy in the next 30 days. But first, let's clear something up. So one of the biggest myths when it comes to burnout is that you can rest your way out of burnout. You cannot rest your way out of burnout. Rest and recovery are not the same things. We have to recover our way out of burnout. And so the best way to look at this is a quick analogy. This, which shouldn't be here, my old mobile phone right now, just imagine for a minute that your energy is your mobile phone battery. All right. When you're burnt out, you're in the red. You're operating on the red. You're in that sort of 10%. Now, when that happens on a phone, you know, when you're down to 1, 2%, and all of a sudden your phone starts glitching, well, mine does, it doesn't start working properly, isn't working properly, shall we say. That is burnout. Now, how do you stop that happening with your phone? You charge it up, right? You plug it into the flipping wall, whatever it is you use, and you charge your battery. Well, if we look at rest is like having 10% on your phone battery and just turning it off. Now, when you turn it back on, you're going to have 10% still. Sure, you haven't used any more energy, you haven't lost any of your 10%, but you haven't gained anything. Now, that is what rest, passive rest, does when it comes to burnout. It's like switching off the mobile phone, you turn it back on and hope to add more energy, but it's not there. And it's one of the biggest mistakes I see people make. Often people take time off work, people take time out of their businesses, and they think, I need a rest. They take 6 weeks off, they go back, and all of a sudden they're in the same position. They feel a bit better, but immediately they get burnt out again. That's because the system hasn't got stronger. It's because we've literally turned off the battery and stored what we have. Recovery, on the other hand, active recovery, charges your energy accounts. And that is the same as plugging your phone in to a fast charger. You actually leave the recovery better off. You end up in the green. So myth number one is you cannot rest your way out of burnout. You have to recover your way out of burnout. And to do that, we need, which we're going to cover later in the video, by the way, we need forms of active recovery. And some of the basics that people know, which is movement and diet, meditation, breathing, quality sleep, body work. There's a million things that you can do. And by the way, if you scroll to the bottom under this video, you'll see that we're giving away a completely free guide, which gives you all the active recovery methods you will need. All you have to do is go down, opt in, and it's yours completely for free, because it allows me to make this video shorter, but all the resources there. The second myth, which is even bigger, which leads off of this, is you have a new problem, right? You know now that, hey, I need to recover actively. That makes sense. I can't just keep resting my way. I can't sit on a sofa and rest my way out of burnout. I can't just do passive things. I need to do these active things. Now that brings a new problem. When do I do all this stuff? And this is a big shift right now, which brings me to the second problem, which is once you know how, you have to do all this amazing active recovery, you hit the problem of like, when do I do all this? And the second myth to burnout is you will never get out of burnout relying on daily habits. Now I realize across social media, there's all these amazing daily habits we have to do. There's these miracle mornings, these evening rituals that will get you out of burnout. But relying on daily habits causes 3 problems, okay? The first problem is you miss out on so many amazing recovery things. So many things that actively charge you up and move you out of burnout cannot be done every day. Yet if we think we need a daily routine that's repeatable all the time, we stay kind of limited in our approach and what we can do. The second thing is time. I mean, if you're burnt out, you may think, how am I going to fit all this in? By the time you slept, hopefully 7, 8 hours a day, and you've got work and different things, it's like, and family, where do I squeeze in all of these recovery methods? As a man with a business and 3 young kids and a family, I haven't got that much time to be recovering all day long. And one of the mistakes I see people make, not through their own fault, is just these laboriously long routines all day because they feel they have to get all this stuff done. So time-wise, it's a huge, huge problem. And just effectiveness. If you go to a gym, and you want to get, you don't make every workout tick all the boxes. You're not, all right, this workout's going to get me stronger. It's going to help me run a marathon. It's going to do all my rehab. You don't fit every element in. You split training up. You hit different things on different days, different focuses on different days. You can't do that. That's in burnout when all we've got is one daily routine. Which brings us to the second problem. How the hell do we do all this amazing active recovery in our time that we have? Well, statement number two is this: daily habits are holding you back when it comes to burnout. In fact, over-reliance on the same daily habits, the same daily routines every day is either keeping you where you're at, maintenance. After all, if you want new results, you can't get it from maintenance dose. Think about that. So it's either holding you back, or in most cases, actually daily habits, and this reliant on daily habits stacking every day and routine is actually driving people further into burnout. And here's why. Number one, mindset-wise, when all you do is look at the routine like people do on social media, and you've seen this, the miracle morning, the miracle nighttime, everything's a miracle. It's a miracle afternoon hack, all these things. When we look only at daily hacks, we miss out on this other huge section of recovery techniques, because some amazing recovery techniques can't be done every day. They need to be done monthly, weekly, maybe even quarterly. But if all we got is a hammer, everything looks like a nail, and we rely on these daily habits which aren't as effective, that's the first thing. The second thing is time-wise. I've got 3 kids, under 5. I have a family, I have a business. I haven't got all day to be recovering myself effectively every day. And in fact, so many people are doing that they're running out of time. So relying on daily habits makes you too time compressed if you're busy. The third thing is that often brings about overwhelm. How many people are overwhelmed that they can't get everything they need to done for their self-care? That's because we rely on this one strict daily routine. And so the second myth really is this, that daily habits are not the answer. They are useful, but the true answer, now we know this, is what's coming up next. The true answer is, how do I build a system that isn't about rest, that isn't about daily habits? How do I build a system that is about recovery and actually more streamlined weekly, monthly habits? And that is exactly what we're going to break down in the next section. So how do we piece together a simple framework that can get you out of burnout in 30 days? So we have 3 things, okay? The first one's called a standard day, which we're going to cover. We have something called a stacking day, which is never done, and we use all our clients, a really powerful tool. And the third one would be supplementation. We are not going to cover supplementation in here. We're covering 2, okay? But these 2 are huge. And so the first one, standard day. What is a standard day? It's that stuff I was talking about. It's those simple daily habits, except we all get into the, oh yeah, I know how to, I know I should be drinking more water, I should be moving, I should be getting in sunlight. These are common things, right? But I just don't do them. I get it. The yeahs are easily said and not easily done. However, rather than boring you with that, I want to share something else with you. I love something called anchor points. And so we say, what's a physical anchor for you, a mental anchor for you, and an emotional anchor for you? Okay? How can you anchor in one key, effective, active recovery thing, physically, mentally, and emotionally every day? Now, most of those are about 10 minutes, some are 15, but all of a sudden you go, these are my anchors. I don't have to worry about laboriously long, crazy routines if I have my 3 anchors in. Now, we use this a lot at the start with people. Again, if you want some examples of what they could be, just download the free guide we got below. Again, it's completely free. There's no obligation to opt into anything, but it's got listed physical, mental, emotional anchors, and it shows you how to build them out. But we need one. What is your physical anchor? Is it, God, I'm always better when I'm walking the dog. Actually, I'm always better when I'm using maybe some kind of temperature work, hot and cold. Mentally, is it, journaling? Is it meditation? Emotionally, is it, and that for me is the soul stuff, is it spending time with my kid? Is it something for me like playing the piano? Is it, going out and seeing a friend? What is my anchor physically, mentally, emotionally? But the real key here is the second topic I like, transition points. For me, I much prefer to get people to look at the points of their day. What are the transition points? For me, I get up, I'm into my sort of getting the kids sorted, taking them to school. And then I transition from that into work. That's a key transition point. How do I own that transition point so I don't just rush from school to work. What can I do in the first 5 minutes of work? What can I do in 5 minutes before work in the car? What can I put a segment in there that helps me transition better, that slows me down? And for some people, that may be 5 minutes of breathing, that may be sitting with a journal quickly, that may be just organizing your day for 5 minutes. But transition points are huge because if you don't nail them, you just carry the stress through your day. And so it could be another transition point is lunch. Lunch is a great point where you can have a simple transition point. You know, you eat lunch, what do? One of the best habits you can do is just go for a quick 10-minute walk, have a little drink, get outside, come back. That is going to do so much more for your afternoon energy and your capacity levels than a really long morning routine that's stressing you out. Another transition point can be from leaving work to going home. It can be the first 5 minutes when you're at home. It can be from when the kids are in bed to the evening. You don't have to do all of them. You pick the key transition points for you and think, what can I do there that's 5 minutes-ish long? Usually some form of breathing, something where you go, this can help me navigate. And again, if you want, comment and I'll do a whole video on transition points, but I wanted to make that point clear for you there. So transition points are huge. What ones do you need to nail and what habit do you need to plug in? We commonly, like I say, show people breathing techniques. Sometimes it might be a little habit like a journal. It all depends what suits that kind of transition point. But I'm more than happy to help anyone if you comment below what your main transition points that you want to nail are. That brings me to the second point, stacking days. So stacking days are done once to twice a week. It's not a whole day. It's something that's maybe 30 minutes long, 40 minutes long, but it's a stack of recovery techniques in one go. Now, for us, stacking days are the game changer. It's where the daily anchors and maintenance, they help our general day-to-day. Transition points can help us stop stress building up. The stacking days when we take our capacity, our battery on our phone, we plug it into a hard charger and we rapidly increase our energy. These have been huge. These have been paramount in helping us, all the people we work with, get them out of burnout. And there's many different forms. However, I'm going to give you a couple of examples you can just go plug in. But a stacking day should do one to two things. Well, two things. Number one, it should reduce cognitive load. To use the phone analogy, which I have here still. Cognitive load is the amount, in simple terms, the amount of information you're storing. Mentally, let's look at that as a simple way of explaining it. Now, like your phone, when you've got too much storage like mine, too many videos, your phone slows down, stops working, you can't get any more on there. Your mind is like that. And in the modern world, we carry huge amounts of cognitive load. We're always juggling our lives in our mind, thinking about things, storing things. And your mind's not for storing information, it's for creating for the most part. So good recovery reduces cognitive load, and that reduces overwhelm and so on and so forth. The second thing it does is gives us a physical, mental, emotional shift. Now there's some nuance to this. If you're flat all the time and low mood, and you're just low, and it doesn't have to be depressed, but you're just low in energy, then the shift for you needs to be ramping you up. But if you're an anxious, stressed, overwhelmed person all the time, on your nerves, then the shift for you needs to be down regulation. The world's obsessed now with down regulation. Some of you will need to be upregulated. You need to wake the system up a little bit. And so the shift is dependent. And I would have you think about that now. Are you somebody that's constantly busy? Are you somebody that's constantly prioritizing activity, recovery and activity that is always fast paced? Well, you might want to consider a down regulating stack. Are you somebody that's anxious, stressed, angry? Down regulating stack. Are you somebody who's low, no motivation, a bit up regulating stack? That's the key there. So it should give you a physical, mental, emotional shift. And so how do we build these stacking days? Let's do that now. So one of the first ones you could start with, dead simple, it's up here somewhere, is what we call a CNS reset. Now, full disclosure, it's not resetting your nervous system, it's a name, but it's, as you can see, it's a breathing technique, okay? And it's got some rapid breathing in it, it's got some breath holds, similar to Wim Hof, except you're holding on the way in, but then it's also got some down regulation stuff, so you ramps your system up, and then we go into more steady breathing, so it brings it back down, then we go into stillness. Now, we use this with a lot of people we work with, and it clears stress really nicely. People feel a lot calmer after, and it's got this real nice habit of leaving you much clearer and calmer mentally. Now that technique will last you 20 minutes. Now we often say do that, and this is one of the keys to stacking on your stacking days. Maybe a Sunday if you're heading into the new week. Maybe you do it on a Friday night because you're heading into the weekend and you want to be clearer. Maybe you do it on a Wednesday night because you're flat. These are common days for us that clients use stacking days: Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. But that kind of technique every week on a rhythm can actually immensely reduce cognitive load and ramp up your energy. Incredible for that. Okay, so feel free to plug that one in. The second one will be more of a downshift. Again, you can see it on screen. So we use this with people who maybe more on the I am really quite stressed in my approach, well, should we say much more activated in my nervous system. That's a long, steady walk, or similar. It can be many things. Then people go in and it's using heat to downshift. It's using slow, steady breathing or meditation. And again, we've got probably over 50 different stacking day methods, and you do that all in one go. So it's the walk, it's the heat, it's one after the other. Again, we do that a lot on a Sunday, a Friday, helps people downshift into the weekend. If people get a bit worked up on a Sunday, helps them downshift into Monday. So it's a useful one. The third one, again on screen, you can use, and I feel free to play around with all these, by the way, is more of what we call a stress clearer. And this involves movement, shaking. So you start off with shaking, and that's obviously discharging stress physiologically. We then go into a workout because that's great for giving us a physical and mental shift, cognitive load, and an actual shift as well. And then it follows a similar system to the breathing, where then you downshift and you breathe and you lie in stillness. Again, a half-hour thing. But what you're doing in all these sessions is you will leave them feeling better. Your energy will be better, your mind will be clearer. That's the point of recovery. It leaves you better off. Rest often leaves you more sedate. It's the switching off analogy. But these three techniques, and we've got loads of them, and feel free to try them, plug them in. Don't have to do all of them. You could do one a week, you could do two a week. But if you plug that in alongside daily anchors, if you plug that in alongside nailing some transition points, and you stick to it for a week, I guarantee your energy will be better. It's a simple platform to get started. Now, full disclosure, there's a lot more to that than getting out of burnout, but these techniques will help you move out of burnout and improve your energy in 30 days. Now, of course, it brings back a new problem. I will say there's 3 C's to burnout. The first one is capacity. We've touched upon some basics here today. The second one is connection. The third one is challenge. Connection and challenge are crucial. If you can't build connection, you're going to struggle with burnout. And you probably see popping up now on the screen, there's videos popping up about just that. So check them out and move on to the next C.